Most haunted hospitals in America. A history of healing and haunting. Welcome to Creepshow, the channel where we explore the chilling, the eerie, and the downright terrifying. Hospitals have long been considered sanctuaries of healing, places where miracles occur and lives are saved. But behind the walls of many of these institutions lie stories of pain, suffering, and tragedy. It is this duality of hope and despair that creates an energy so intense it seems to linger long after the living have left. From their cold, sterile corridors to their shadowy abandoned rooms, hospitals across America have become the focus of countless ghost stories and paranormal investigations. This video delves into the chilling histories of some of the most haunted hospitals in the United States. These stories are not just about the past, but about the present, about the ghostly encounters, unexplained phenomena, and eerie sensations that continue to haunt these places today. Let's take a journey into the heart of the supernatural and explore the mysteries of America's most haunted hospitals. Number 1. Waverly Hills Sanatorium, Louisville, Kentucky. Waverly Hills Sanatorium is perhaps the most infamous haunted hospital in America. Originally built in 1910 as a small two-story hospital, it was expanded in the 1920s to accommodate the surge of tuberculosis patients. At the height of the epidemic, tuberculosis, or the White Plague, claimed thousands of lives. Waverly Hills became their last hope, and for many, their final resting place. The building's most infamous feature is the body chute, a tunnel designed to discreetly transport deceased patients to the bottom of a hill, ensuring that the site of death didn't demoralize the remaining patients. Today, the tunnel is a hot spot for paranormal activity. Investigators report hearing whispers, feeling sudden cold spots, and even seeing shadowy figures following them. The sanatorium's ghostly reputation doesn't stop there. Room 502, where a nurse allegedly took her own life, is the site of many eerie encounters. Visitors report hearing a woman's voice, seeing apparitions, and feeling a heavy sense of despair. Whether these stories are echoes of Waverly's tragic past or something more sinister, one thing is clear: Waverly Hills Sanatorium holds its secrets close. Number 2. Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum, Weston, West Virginia. The Trans-Allegheny Lunatic Asylum was built in the mid-1800s to provide care for the mentally ill. However, overcrowding and poor treatment turned this hospital into a place of unimaginable suffering. Designed to house 250 patients, it ended up holding more than 2,400 at its peak. Patients endured brutal treatments, including lobotomies and electroshock therapy. Today, the asylum's sprawling halls are said to be home to countless spirits. Ghost hunters have captured eerie voices, footsteps, and even full-body apparitions on camera. The most famous ghost is that of a little girl named Lily, believed to have died on the premises. Her laughter and the sound of a bouncing ball can often be heard in the children's ward. Another chilling area is Ward 4, where the most violent patients were kept. Paranormal investigators have reported aggressive encounters, such as being scratched or pushed. The building's dark history continues to cast a shadow, making it a magnet for those seeking the supernatural. Number 3. Pennhurst Asylum, Spring City, Pennsylvania. Once an institution for the mentally and physically disabled, Pennhurst Asylum has a history of abuse and neglect. Opened in 1908, the facility soon became overcrowded, leading to appalling living conditions. Reports of abuse surfaced in the 1960s, ultimately leading to its closure in 1987. Today, Pennhurst is one of the most notorious haunted locations in the country. Visitors and paranormal investigators report hearing screams, whispers, and the sound of doors slamming shut. One of the most chilling areas is the tunnels beneath the buildings, where shadows dart across the walls and voices echo in the darkness. The ghostly presence of former patients is said to linger, with some visitors claiming to see apparitions of children. Pennhurst's haunted reputation is a grim reminder of its tragic past, where the vulnerable were left to suffer in silence. Number 4. Vista Community Hospital, Los Angeles, California. Located in Boyle Heights, Vista Community Hospital opened in 1904 and served as a critical care center for decades. However, as the neighborhood's crime rate rose in the late 20th century, the hospital saw an influx of gunshot victims and other violent cases. The facility eventually closed its doors in 1991, but not before earning a reputation for its ghostly activity. Linda Vista's paranormal legacy has made it a popular filming location for horror movies. Crews and visitors report eerie sensations, including the feeling of being watched and unexplained footsteps echoing in the halls. Some claim to see the apparitions of former patients and staff, while others hear disembodied voices calling out. The surgical suites and the morgue are particularly active areas. Many believe the spirits of those who died tragically or violently still roam these rooms, unable to find peace. Number 5. Eloise Psychiatric Hospital, Westland, Michigan. Eloise Psychiatric Hospital began as a poorhouse in the 19th century and later expanded to include psychiatric care, housing thousands of patients at its peak. The hospital became notorious for its overcrowding and experimental treatments, including electroshock therapy and lobotomies. Since its closure, Eloise has gained a reputation as a haunted hotspot. Visitors report strange occurrences such as unexplained shadows, sudden temperature drops, and ghostly voices. The sound of footsteps and the laughter of a young girl have been frequently heard in the abandoned buildings. One of the most chilling stories involves the hospital's basement, where former staff claim to have seen dark, shadowy figures moving through the corridors. These sightings, combined with the hospital's grim history, make Eloise a place of both fascination and fear. Number 6. Old Tooele Hospital, Tooele, Utah. Originally built as a family home in the late 1800s, the building was converted into a hospital in the early 20th century. Known as Old Tooele Hospital, it served the community until its closure in 2001. Over the years, stories of paranormal activity began to surface. Today, the hospital operates as a paranormal attraction, drawing ghost hunters and thrill seekers from across the country. Visitors report feeling sudden cold spots, hearing disembodied voices, and seeing apparitions in the hallways. One of the most famous spirits is that of a nurse who reportedly still checks on patients in the afterlife. The surgical suite and the basement are considered the most haunted areas. Many believe the spirits of those who suffered and died within these walls remain unable to move on. Number 7. Eastern State Hospital, Williamsburg, Virginia. Eastern State Hospital holds the distinction of being the first public mental hospital in the United States. Founded in 1773, it operated for centuries, witnessing the evolution of mental health care from its darkest days to modern advancements. With such a long history, it's no surprise that Eastern State is said to be haunted. Ghostly figures, unexplained sounds, and sudden feelings of dread have all been reported. Visitors often describe an oppressive atmosphere, as if the building itself remembers the suffering of its patients. The hospital's oldest wing is particularly active, with reports of shadowy apparitions and doors opening and closing on their own. Some believe these spirits are former patients, still seeking solace after centuries of unrest. Number 8. Rolling Hills Asylum, East Bethany, New York. Originally a poorhouse, Rolling Hills Asylum became a refuge for society's outcasts, the elderly, the sick, and the mentally ill. Opened in 1827, the institution housed thousands of residents over its long history. Many of them died within its walls, their bodies buried in unmarked graves. Today, Rolling Hills is one of the most active paranormal locations in the United States. Visitors report hearing the voices of children, seeing shadow figures, and feeling unseen hands touch them. One of the most famous spirits is Roy, a 7-foot-tall former resident whose hulking figure is often seen roaming the halls. The morgue and the former infirmary are particularly eerie, with reports of doors slamming shut and equipment moving on its own. Waverly Hills Asylum's tragic past seems to have left an indelible mark on the building, making it a place where the living and the dead coexist. Number 9. Willard Asylum, Ovid, New York. Opened in 1869, Willard Asylum was designed to house the mentally ill who could not care for themselves. Over its history, the asylum became overcrowded, and many patients spent their entire lives within its walls. When it closed in the 1990s, thousands of personal belongings were discovered, providing a haunting glimpse into the lives of its former residents. Paranormal activity at Willard is well documented. Visitors report hearing whispers, seeing apparitions, and feeling an overwhelming sense of sadness. The hospital's morgue and abandoned patient wards are especially active, with reports of footsteps and shadowy figures. The tragic stories of those who lived and died at Willard continue to resonate, making it one of the most haunted hospitals in the country. Number 10. Yorktown Memorial Hospital, Yorktown, Texas. Built in the 1950s, Yorktown Memorial Hospital was run by a group of nuns and served the small community for decades. However, the hospital also saw its share of tragedy, with numerous deaths occurring within its walls. Since its closure in the 1980s, Yorktown has become infamous for its paranormal activity. Visitors report seeing shadowy figures, hearing voices, and experiencing sudden, unexplainable chills. The chapel, once a place of comfort, is now one of the most active areas, with reports of a menacing spirit said to dislike visitors. The basement, where the hospital's morgue is located, is another hotspot for ghostly encounters. Many believe the spirits of former patients and staff remain tied to the building, creating an atmosphere that is both eerie and captivating. Thank you for joining us on this spine-chilling journey through America's most haunted hospitals. Here on Creepshow, we love uncovering the eerie and unexplained, and these haunted locations remind us that the line between the living and the dead is thinner than we might think. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon to stay updated on all things creepy. Let us know in the comments which haunted hospital gave you the most chills, or if you've had any paranormal encounters of your own. Until next time, stay curious, stay brave, and stay spooky. This is Creepshow, signing off.